In 1942, the world is engulfed in the second global conflict of the 20th century, World War II. Amidst this global struggle, the Soviet city of Stalingrad braces for an event that will be etched in the annals of history. This city, named after the Soviet leader Joseph Stalin, is about to become the epicenter of a battle that will dramatically shift the war's momentum. Before the battle, Germany, led by Adolf Hitler, had embarked on a colossal campaign known as Operation Barbarossa, invading the vast lands of the Soviet Union. Despite early victories, the German army's advance was halted at Moscow, the heart of the Soviet Union, during the winter of 1941. Thwarted but not defeated, the German military redirected its focus towards the southeast, aiming for the rich oil fields of the Caucasus and setting their sights on Stalingrad, a city symbolizing Soviet power. Stalingrad was a linchpin in the Soviet war effort, bustling with factories churning out tanks and guns for the front lines. Situated on the banks of the vital Volga River, the city was a hub for transport and trade. For the Germans, capturing Stalingrad would not only disrupt Soviet supply chains, but also serve as a devastating blow to Soviet morale. The assault began with a ferocious aerial bombardment by the German Air Force, the Luftwaffe, in August 1942. The city was engulfed in flames as buildings crumbled and civilians were thrust into a desperate struggle for survival. Yet, against this backdrop of destruction, the Soviet Red Army mounted a tenacious defense, determined to hold the city at all costs. As the battle raged, Stalingrad transformed into a vast, brutal maze of combat. The conflict descended into a grim struggle of attrition, with each side vying for control of the city's shattered landscape. The German army, adept in swift and decisive warfare known as blitzkrieg, aimed to quickly overrun the city. However, they met unexpectedly fierce resistance from the Soviet defenders, who were ready to sacrifice everything to defend their homeland. By late September, the Germans appeared to be winning, having taken control of most of the city. But the Soviet defenders, now under the command of General Vasily Chuikov, did not relent. Their resistance was so fierce that the Germans found themselves in a costly, drawn-out fight, with each advance met with stubborn Soviet defiance. In November, the momentum shifted with a bold Soviet counteroffensive named Operation Uranus. Devised by General Georgy Zhukov, this maneuver targeted the weaker Axis forces of Romania, Italy and Hungary that guarded the German flanks. The Soviet attack was successful, encircling and trapping around 300,000 Axis troops within Stalingrad. Trapped in the Stalingrad pocket, the Axis forces faced a dire situation. The harsh Russian winter set in, and without adequate supplies or reinforcements, soldiers suffered from starvation and extreme cold. Hitler had promised that the Luftwaffe would supply the encircled troops by air, but this proved impossible due to the conditions and the Soviet blockade. As the new year of 1943 began, the situation for the trapped German forces became desperate. The Soviet Union launched a final offensive, Operation Ring, to seal the fate of the German Sixth Army. Despite their resistance, the Germans were outnumbered and outgunned, and their defenses gradually fell apart under the constant Soviet assault. Finally, defying Hitler's orders to fight to the last man, General Friedrich Paulus surrendered on February 2, 1943. The fall of the German Sixth Army marked a turning point in World War II. From a force of over 250,000 men, fewer than 100,000 shattered troops survived to surrender. The Soviet victory at Stalingrad was not just a military triumph, but a symbol of resilience and determination that resonated across the world. The Battle of Stalingrad was a momentous event in World War II, symbolizing the ultimate failure of the Nazi invasion of the Soviet Union and the enormous human cost of the war. It became a tale of courage and survival against the odds, teaching future generations the harsh lessons of war's brutality and the enduring spirit of those who resist tyranny.